the last 2 decades, there has been such an occurrence. In 2009, during the development of the Vision 2020, and the latest ERGP, which was developed in 2016. The prevailing economic indices and parameters at those times determined the aim of the development plan that was put in place. After the recovery of the global financial crisis, which emanated from the United States of America in 2008, Nigeria targeted to be among the top 20 economies in the world, with a minimum GDP of $900 billion and a per capita income of no less than $4,000 per annum by December 2020. This lofty ambition resulted in the making of the highly prized and rated Nigerian Vision 2020. However, at the turn of events in 2016, when crude oil prices crashed, which is the main source of foreign exchange earnings for Nigeria, when the economy went into recession with a negative GDP growth of 1.6%. By way of response, the government of Nigeria quickly crafted the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan for 2017 to 2020, which implementation helped our country to exit recession and put the economy on the path of growth, which saw us consistently growing in 12 consecutive quarters. Economic historians may therefore want to attach Nigeria's recent planning cycle to another major global event, as we are facing now. In the face of COVID-19 and also the crash in the crude oil price in the international market, has seen great economies around the world experiencing recession. And this includes the United States of America, Japan, China, Russia, and in Africa, South Africa, Ghana, and Nigeria, going into recession in 2020. Although the 2 last national plans are on their way out by the end of this year, the question that will be and remain on the lips of Nigerians, which we must be ready to provide answers to with little or no prompting as we progress with the preparation of the successor plan, is how much of the plans have been used to transform Nigerian economy. As the National Steering Committee for the preparation of these new plans, we must therefore strive to give hope to the great citizens of this country with the quality of plans that we come up with. Let me also remind us that immediately after independence in 1960, Nigeria adopted the National Development Planning as a strategy to unleash infrastructure development in all parts of the country. This resulted in the development of the 4 first indigenous national development plans, which covered the periods 1962 to 1985. All of these 4 plans had the same objectives, and these objectives include achieving self-sufficiency in economic growth, improving the standard of living of the citizens, enhancing per capita income, reducing unemployment and poverty levels, diversifying the economy, balancing development across regions, and indigenizing economic activities. These plans were followed by policy plans such as the Structural Adjustment Program, the 3-year rolling plans, the Vision 2020, the National Economic Empowerment Strategy Needs, the 7-point agenda, the Transformation Agenda, and the ERGP. The implementation of these plans by various regions have contributed to the level of development that we have attained today in the country. As a nation, we have another opportunity to develop another plan from which government policies will be derived from, at least in the next decade. Clearly, and from all indications, the objective of the plans have not significantly changed from the previous ones. It is all about diversifying the economy, expanding our revenue base, reducing poverty, increasing wealth, and also creating jobs. To achieve these objectives and also to play a significant role in the global markets, the plans must pay serious attention to the development of infrastructure and the reducing the cost of production of goods and services in Nigeria. Already, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the AFCFTA agreement, has been signed by African countries. This has opened a vista of competition within Africa. The African continent is gradually becoming borderless. It is only the countries that plan and translate their plans into action that are likely to get the greatest impact. To this end, I want to envisage that the new plans will also focus on addressing these binding constraints that have impeded the much desired industrialization and transformation of our economy. Emphasis should therefore be placed on technology acquisition and adaptation, research and development, as well as the macroeconomic framework, which we have identified as the important growth drivers for growth and revenue. Most important also, the new plans must seek to facilitate improving product complexity and mapping in order to acquire greater market share for our country of the product complexity space within the African region and also in the wider international business space to actually diversify our revenue base. We must also be able to ensure that we use the new plans to work towards attaining global agendas such as the Sustainable Development Goals and the AU Agenda 2063, as well as the ECOWAS agenda. This we have to do to make Nigeria to continue to stand tall in the Committee of Nations. Finally, various regions in the country, in the recent times, have been pursuing different economic cooperation within their zones. I therefore want to urge us all that the new plans that we are making should take into consideration the comparative advantages available in these regional blocks to build a viral Nigeria. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your kind attention.
The food crisis with the ability to threaten the nation's security, food security. Yesterday, my office as the Secretariat of the National Food Security Council met with the All Agricultural Commodity Association to ascertain the root causes of the recent spike in food prices and craft mitigating strategies to what could be a potential crisis. Although various concerns were raised on the increase in the commodity costs, we have been informed that prices are actually currently on the decline as new grains have been introduced to the market. For example, new maize, which was previously sold at 25,000 naira per bag, is now being sold between 12,000 and 17,000 naira, and is expected to fall to between 7,000 and 8,000 naira per bag by November 2020, according to the leaders of the various agricultural commodity associations. The price decline has also been experienced in millet, in beans, and sorghum. The hike is therefore to be seen as a transient situation. With Mr. President being among us, as somebody who knows about farming and agriculture perhaps more than many of us in the room, we believe that his presence is very instructive in addressing not just this hike and transient nature of the cost of and the prices of foodstuff, but also to underscore the importance that he personally, as Mr. President, and the administration attaches to the issue of national food security. However, it is important to note that the most prevalent concern of the various commodity leaders was the demand that there should be better coordination, synergy, and cooperation across the sector. This has been largely accounted for the gross misinformation and nationwide speculation which is being experienced. not disregarding the impact of other valid triggers, such as the cyclical off-season phenomenon, the COVID-19 pandemic, and infrastructural challenges. The importance of collaboration can still not be overemphasized. As I welcome all participants to this crucial gathering, I urge that we all work hand in hand to ensure the protection of our nation's food basket. Agriculture is a major priority for this administration and a crucial driver for the development of the nation. Therefore, the growth of the sector leaves no room for complacency, as there is still a long and arduous way to go before achieving our goals. However, with determination, coordination, and hard work, we have the capacity, and we must therefore demonstrate the will to exceed our expectations. I wish you all successful deliberation. Good afternoon.
To be successful, it has to be inclusive. That is, the people of a country must want to take ownership of that plan. So it's something that it almost has to come from the bottom up, and people should feel that that plan is working for them. They have been consulted, or indeed they have access to those doing the plan, and that the best ideas will be well reviewed and considered. We are particularly glad, therefore, Mr. President, that the composition of the steering committee appears to have passed that test of being all-inclusive. It includes the major political parties. It includes governors. It includes legislators, ministers, local government, private sector. Let me just not go on and on. But basically, some of these are groups that in the past were never brought in early enough. So they stood outside, and their aim was to discredit or disown. As steering committee members, our pledge is that we will work as a team. We will learn from past mistakes in terms of errors of plan design, and we also believe that we will learn from past errors in terms of implementation. Why are we so confident? Partly because some of those past plans were done in an era of an oil boom. It is difficult to focus in a boom. It is a lot easier to focus in difficult times. Difficult times force people to become reasonable. So we believe that although these are difficult times, they're also the best time to get people together to seriously think about the future of this nation for the next 5 years and even going as far as 2050. So without much ado, therefore, I would like to end, Mr. President, by thanking you for the confidence reposed in us and to assure you that we will do everything to put our best foot forward in this important national assignment. So help us God.
Members of the Steering Committee for the National Development Plan, senior government officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to address you all on this very important occasion of the formal inauguration at the National Steering Committee for the Development of Successor Plans to the Nigerian Vision 2020 and the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan 2017 to 2020. National development planning is a vital task that, if carefully conceived and diligently implemented, can transform the economic fortunes of a nation. The Chinese experience is an example. It has resulted in lifting over 700 million people out of poverty over the last 4 decades. Indeed, China's track record of positive economic growth since 1992 was only halted in the first quarter of 2020 due to onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 presents the world and Nigeria with a crisis as well as an opportunity. The current global health and economic crisis give us an opportunity to think afresh and chart an optimal path forward. When I launched the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan in February 2017, its objectives included A, restructuring and sustaining growth, B, investing in our people, and C, building a globally competitive economy. The Nigerian Vision 2020, on the other hand, was an articulation of the long-term intent to launch Nigeria into a path of sustained social and economic development. The Economic Recovery and Growth Plan shared this vision, which ensured that the country exited recession in 2017 and sustained growth in gross domestic product until the recent global economic challenges occasioned by COVID-19. Over the decades, successive planning and visioning exercises have guided investment in human capital development, the implementation of our infrastructural roadmap, and supported social investment in our people's lives and livelihoods. Your Excellencies, in order to ensure continuity and efficiency in our development planning, it has become necessary to develop successor plans to the Nigerian Vision 2020 and the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, which both lapsed in December this year. The main objectives of these successor plans are to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty within the next 10 years, particularly given the World Bank's projection that Nigeria will become the world's third most populous country by 2050, with over 400 million people. In order to ensure a truly consultative, participatory, and inclusive planning process, the National Steering Committee will comprise representatives of A, one state governor from each of the 6 geopolitical zones, B, the Senate and House of Representatives, C, honorable ministers and representatives of key agencies, D, major political parties, E, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, F, captains of industries, as well as labor organizations, G, youth organizations and women's societies, H, farmers' associations, I, traditional and religious leaders, J, people with special needs, and K, members of the press. At the heart of the successor plans is a partnership between the public and private sectors, with government as an enabler of private sector investment and industry. To underscore this partnership, the National Steering Committee is to be jointly chaired by Mr. Atedo Peter Said, and Dr. Mrs. Zainab S. Ahmed, the Minister of Finance, Budget, and National Planning. The National Steering Committee is to oversee governance structure comprising the Central Working Group and 26 technical working groups for this important national assignment. It is my expectation that the steering committee will oversee the execution of key deliverables, including recommending measures to ensure the continuous implementation of the plans, and even after the expiration of the tenure of successive administrations, including legislation if required. Such legislation may introduce much needed rigor and discipline to the national development planning, as well as institutionalize planned outcomes for the future. I trust that our partners in the National Assembly will support us in exploring these reforms. Furthermore, I enjoin the National Steering Committee not to lose sight of the important role Nigeria plays on our continent as well as in the global community. The successor plans must, therefore, be designed to sustain national development as well as support our regional and global strategic interests as outlined in the African Union Agenda 2063, the ECOWAS Integration Agenda 2050, and the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to formally inaugurate the National Steering Committee to oversee the development of the Nigeria Agenda 2050 and medium-term national development plan to succeed the Nigeria Vision 2020 and the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan 2017 to 2020. I wish us all success in this very important national assignment and look forward to receiving regular reports of your deliberations. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.